Our next writer, Pat Ingoldsby, Emanuel will read some of his poetry in a few minutes. Pat was an emblematic figure in the Irish culture, he still is. He's known on national radio and television, but also for his poetry. For many years you could find Pat in Dublin city centre selling his books and sharing his knowledge with people around him. One day, one of Itaka's friends, while he was visiting Dublin, met Pat and was so impressed by their encounter that he wrote about him, making him one of his characters in one of his published stories in Itaka in 2014. So we're very glad we could publish one of his last creations in our Blackjack too. So Emanuel, if you like to read both English and Romanian, because you're so good.
Yeah, like we know, like all we know, Pat is not anymore with us. He moved higher and higher. And please, when you reach a quiet time, make a prayer for his soul. So, I'll read first in English. Shock and gone. Because they thought it might be less traumatic than administering shock treatment to their patient, they decide to fire him out of the gun instead. They are still unable to make a balanced judgment regarding the difference because they cannot find him. They think he may have come down on the roof of a train, so it may take a while yet. A helmet and goggles were included in their priority list, but nobody thought of a train ticket. Șoc și dusie, deoarece s-au gândit că ar fi mai puțin traumatic decât să-i administreze pacientului un tratament șoc, au decis să-l propulseze ca pe un proiectil din gura unui tun. Dar încă nu sunt în stare să gândească echilibrat în ce privește diferența între cele două tratamente, deoarece nu-l pot găsi. Se gândesc că a aterizat ca acoperișul trenului. Deci îi va lua ceva timp să vină de acolo. O cască și ochelari sunt incluse în lista lor prioritară, dar nimeni nu s-a gândit și la un bilet de tren.
Thank you, Emanuel. I'm sure Pat really enjoyed that. Our next writer, Joanne McCarthy, lives in Waterford and writes poetry in both English and Irish. She has many cultural publications and is awarded for her creations at different national competitions. She is the co-founder and co-editor of the Wax Lemon Literary Journal. So Joanne will now read her poem in English and Irish, and Doria will follow up with Romanian. So Joanne, thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to echo the words of the other poets that have come already before me to say thank you very much, Ditka, and to the team. I'm really grateful to be included, and this is a fabulous collection and an important collection. I'm very grateful to be part of it. I'm going to read this poem for my boys. Fionn Dahi agus Shami Thon Sa Not Sneef Batacht Erchur Nis Dasha, and they remind me in a world that has all crazy things happening in it, not to forget about wonder and joy. Or glunder cree, I might say. So Tosnoi me askelga. So Chop Slum, I wrote this poem in Irish, Chop Slum. Baron Criggle, Ivica, Scarf Namach Halaj Zoiga, a valley co-ord, nach Federlum Fochel, a raw lesh, Vishtegi on dinosaur, a gionol gajo sa shomer bregon. No one sleep nach, mach tira einrach ian gelach, gavil jafurka ike, fod na rail tree, call Cathracha in a rail winta, call Shesherka in a dragiti. Conas in short dó fan Chicxulub an Pactor, an Colínach sin na bharigh muintir stegi ilig. Conas go dagan si slán as go mléas go bham, le fiacla beag a géire ar agréim. Agus, raim mid lo go Mexico, tá pals a talabham, caithid é a hasfánit. And in English, thank you for indulging me the time for two. Safe landing. Crocodiles lay eggs. Eggs! The youngest lad cries, his eyebrows raised so high. I can't say a word about the origin of Steggy, the dinosaur, who groans all day long in the toy room. Nor can I tell him the moon is no lone wolf. She is kin all over the galaxy, constellation cousins and meteorite sisters. Because how could I speak about the Chicxulub impactor, that black sheep who murdered Steggy's kind? How did they come out of the eggs, ma'am? With sharp little teeth, I answer. And someday we'll go to Mexico. There's a hole in the ground waiting for you.
Aterizare reușită. Crocodilii lasă ouă. Ouă. Cel mai tânăr plânge sprâncenele ridicate atât de sus. Nu pot spune nimic despre originea lui Steggy, dinozaurul care urlă cât e ziua de lungă în camera jucăriilor. Nici nu pot spune lumii că nu e lup singuratic, are rude peste tot în galaxie. Verișori, constelații și meteoriți, surori, pentru că altfel cum aș vorbi despre ciocanul lui Chicxulub, această oaie neagră, care a omorât puiul Steggy? Cum ies din ouă mamă? Cu dinții ascuțiți, îi răspund. Și, într-o zi, vom merge în Mexic. Acolo, un gârlici al pământului care te așteaptă. Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you, Joanne. That's great. Now, Afric McGlinchey lives in Clonakilty, County Cork. I said that right. She's listed for the second time in the Irish poetry book, Blackjack. She published many books and won many awards. Her poetry was also translated into Italian and Macedonian. I will now read her poem, How to Survive. How to survive. Swimming always attaches her to joy, intimate gladness strung from each stroke, and the water bends back, its skin, green and blue textures, full of excitable dancing, and her body remembers, and sensations flock like gulls to a trawler, and her body homes to the salt like a sailboat spearing into the waves, and she makes of her limbs a weapon to wield against rips, and salt is champagne on her lips, and the sea is a feast on this, her second sunshiny lockdown birthday.
Cum să supraviețuiești? Înotul întotdeauna o apropia de bucurie. Plăceri interioare se înlănțuiau cu fiecare mișcare. Și apa se apleca înapoi. Pielea ei de o textură verde și albastră plină de un dans excitant. Și corpul ei își amintea și senzațiile se grupeau ca pescărușii pe un pescador și trupul ei saluta sarea ca o corabie străbătând valurile. Și ea își făcea din brațe un scut să se apere împotriva ruperilor și sarea era șampanie pe buzele ei și marea un festin în cea de-a doua însorită zi de naștere în plină pandemie. Thank you.